I have given you every herb-bearing seed. To you, it shall be for food. Genesis 1:29. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. Psalm 78:25. Everyday Manna with Lisa.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Everyday Manna. Today we are going to take the traditional chicken buffalo wing and we're going to make a spin on it. We're going to make a chicken buffalo salad. Alongside that, we're going to have some wonderful fresh watermelon dressed with a lime, lemon vinaigrette and honey. It's delicious. And then for dessert, we're going to have a white chocolate tart with fruit, and it's going to be delicious. So we're going to get started on our chicken. Now, I have about a pound of chicken tenders that I've already cut into like 1-inch pieces. You can use boneless, skinless chicken breast, or you can buy the tenders like I did and just cut them into pieces. It's a little easier if you will put your chicken in the freezer for like 30 minutes and let it kind of firm up. It's easier to cut when it's like a fourth of the way into that frozen state. But if you don't have time for that, just cut them up into pieces. You could use, the dark meat if you wanted to use the boneless chicken thigh. You could do the same thing with the boneless chicken thigh. I have a large skillet here that's getting screaming hot. I better turn him down. Let's get him off there for just a little bit here. Cool down for just a second. I'm gonna salt and pepper my chicken. Always use a disposable or washable mat. Anytime you're working with raw poultry, I never ever put raw meat on my good wooden cutting boards because they cannot go in the dishwasher and they can't be sanitized. So I like these little plastic mats that you can get anywhere, and they're perfect for poultry. Now, in your skillet, put about, 2, 3, 4 tablespoons or so. You want a good amount. I'm just using vegetable oil. You could use canola oil. You could use olive oil. Whatever you have will be fine. And then get your chicken in there. You want to hear that sizzle because you want to get this chicken cooked to like a golden brown. And if it's not hot, when you put that in there, it really just kind of steams, and it's not very good. You like that golden crust on your chicken and your beef and whatever you're cooking, get your skillet hot first, because the cold chicken's going to cool it down. So get it hot, put it into a single layer. And then I'm going to season this other side, although there's some that, ended up with the seasoned side up. I'm going to go ahead and add just a little more salt. I'm not going to add any pepper because we're making a buffalo chicken wing sauce as our dressing, and trust me, it's hot enough. So let's get started on our sauce. While this is sauteing, just keep an eye on it. Add about 1/4 of a cup. I'm just using vegetable oil. Canola oil will be fine. I wouldn't use olive oil in this application because you really don't want the flavor that olive oil will add. I've got 1/4 of a cup of hot sauce. Now this is buffalo chicken. Buffalo chicken is hot. So I'm using 1/4 of a cup of hot sauce. Love it. I love buffalo chicken. And my Aaron, my youngest son, dearly loves chicken wings. Absolutely loves chicken wings. Now, traditional chicken wing sauce is hot sauce and butter. So, gotta have a little butter. I have about 2 tablespoons, which is much less than your traditional buffalo wing, but I'm just adding a couple of tablespoons of melted butter, real butter. To this, I'm going to add about a tablespoon or so of honey, just for a little sweetness, because we're making a dressing out of this also. So add some honey, about a tablespoon of honey to that. Add some chives. Now, my store this morning when I went shopping did not have any fresh chives. I find that the chives that you get in the spice section are pretty good, but if you can find fresh chives, use the fresh. A little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper because you're dealing with 2 different kinds of heat. Your hot sauce, of course, is made from cayenne peppers, and this is black pepper, and it hits your tongue on 2 different places. It's 2 different kinds of taste, 2 different kinds of heat. So about, I don't know, a tablespoon or so, or a teaspoon of salt, maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. Whisk that together and set that aside. The smell. Oh, smells so good. It's gonna be delicious on our salad. Now, let's check our chicken here. It probably needs a minute more. Kind of separate it out there a little bit. You're just wanting to brown it really good, and then, of course, we want it to be golden brown, but cooked through, and it needs a minute more. Makes a mess on your stove, but that's okay. Now, you have to have celery with chicken wings. That's just a must-do. And actually, I adore celery. I just love it. So we want to have some celery. I like this piece up here. A lot of people just throw that away, but I think it has a lot of flavor. A lot of times I'll use the greens too, but not for today, we're not. Now, we want to cut this into like a smaller dice, just plain celery. If you don't like celery, and some people don't, I can't imagine that, but some people don't put it in there. But, you know, traditionally, chicken wings has celery. So I just cut it into little matchstick pieces and then just go across and cut little small dice. Because, you know, traditionally, served alongside chicken wings is celery sticks and a blue cheese dressing. So what we're doing is incorporating all of those flavors. Try our celery. So good. Crunchy, delicious. I love celery. We're going to incorporate, let's wait just a minute on that, those flavors into our salad, and we're just going to turn this into a salad instead of the fried buffalo wings. Now, let's check our chicken. He's ready to be turned. Crank our heat up just a little bit now. You see that golden, let me get some tongs here. The golden crisp crust, that's what you want on your chicken. Sometimes, you know, you just need to grab yourself a pair of tongs and turn them over because you want both sides to be golden brown and delicious. This is a very healthy thing. You know, white meat, of course, has less fat than your chicken thighs, your boneless, skinless thighs. But some people like the dark meat, and if you do, absolutely use your chicken thigh meat. It would be delicious too. Actually, chicken thighs sometimes is moister than chicken breast, but I like white meat, so that's what I'm using today. All right, I'm just gonna take a quick little break. Just gonna let this chicken saute on this side. Doesn't take long because it's lean, number one, and I've cut it into smaller pieces, so I'm gonna let that go for just a couple more minutes. When I come back, we're gonna get our salad going, and we're gonna start on this wonderful, wonderful summertime treat of watermelon with a dressing on it. I'll be right back with you in just a minute. Welcome back. Now our chicken is done. See how beautiful and golden it is? That's exactly what you want. You want to take your chicken and put it in a bowl. Then take half of your dressing, just half, and pour over that chicken. And we're going to kind of let that chicken just absorb the flavors of that wonderful buffalo sauce. Stir that to combine. And friends, you could eat that right there all by itself if you wanted to. Absolutely could just eat that. But we're not going to. Now, I'm using today just some beautiful baby spinach because that's what I like. But you can use whatever kind of salad mix that you like. I'm just using spinach. We're going to add our celery to our salad. Then we're going to have some blue cheese crumbles. I just went ahead and bought some crumbles already ready to go in my store. I love blue cheese. It's so good, so delicious. And you know, grocery stores are really coming along with their cheese departments. And I was shopping the other day at my local store, and I noticed that they really have done a wonderful job upgrading their cheese. They're over by the deli section. They have a cheese bar that has all kinds of cheeses in it, and I love cheese. So I was real happy. But you can get the blue cheese already crumbled, or you can buy a wedge of blue cheese, whatever kind of blue cheese you like. There's different kinds, and crumble it yourself, but that's easier. Then we're gonna add some croutons, which aren't traditional with, you know, buffalo chicken, but it is a salad, and you know, people like croutons in their salad. And we're gonna let that, well, let's just, well, no, that's plenty. We're gonna kind of let that hang out right here. We're gonna let this cool down a little bit and absorb those flavors. Then we're gonna take the remainder of this dressing, dress that salad, and then toss that chicken in there. But I kind of wanna let that chicken cool down because it will wilt my greens if I put that in there right now. And you don't want to dress your salad until just before you're ready to serve because it'll wilt and you don't want that. So let's just kind of set that to the side for a few minutes. And let's get started on our watermelon. Now, I've already cut my watermelon in half just because it's easier to work with. And I'm going to show you a little trick. If you'll cut, if they can get a shot of this, if you'll cut just a little small sliver off the bottom of your watermelon, it's much more stable, and I do that on both sides. See, I've got that on both sides. It's much more stable to work with, and it'll be a whole lot easier for you, you know, when you're doing that. Or you can cut it on the side if you want to cut it lengthwise, however you want to do it. I bought a seedless watermelon today. This is a melon baller on one end, actually a little tomato or strawberry huller on the other. But this is a melon baller. I just like the look of the little balls of melon. If you want to just cut it and cut it into cubes, you can, but I like the little melon baller. So just take your watermelon and get your little balls of the melon out. Now, if you wanted to mix this with cantaloupe, you could. If you wanted to use, you know, honeydew melon or whatever kind of melon you like, I just happen to really like watermelon, and it's wonderful, and oh, it smells so good. Now, it's really important, if you cut this into cubes, make sure that you have a board that will contain your juices. But where I'm using the melon baller, my juices, if you can kind of see, are just sort of pooling down in there, and because you want to reserve those juices. It's very important that we keep the watermelon juice because that's going to be part of our dressing for this wonderful little melon salad. And this is a big watermelon, so I probably am only going to need half of these little melon balls. So we're just going to keep using our little melon baller and making little watermelon balls. Okay, now we have completely balled half of our melon because I only needed half. That filled up that whole thing. And I wanted to show you, this is what I was talking about. If you can see down in there, all those juices. Okay, watch. Now I'm going to strain because even though it's a seedless watermelon, it still does have some seeds in there. And that's what I'm talking about, the juice. Okay, you see all that? That's flavor. You don't want to throw that away. So I wanted to strain out any of the little seeds or pulp because sometimes, you know, even seedless watermelon has those little white seeds in it. Those are edible, they're okay, but I didn't want it in the dressing. Now in this bowl, I have about 3 tablespoons of honey, and I'm gonna pour whatever amount of juices that you have left. You wanna keep those. Then we're gonna zest and juice 1 lemon. Let's go ahead and zest, because honestly, I find that the zest has even more flavor oftentimes than the you know, the juice of the citrus, whatever it is that you're doing. And I'm doing a lime and a lemon, and I'm gonna zest both. Do this a lot with citrus, and then roll it. Let's do the lime while we got our zester over here. Oops, come on, you. I love fruit salad. And if you're a fan of this show, you know that. Because I really, really do like fruit. And I like to incorporate it in my diet. But I find sometimes that if you don't do something with it, it just lays there. People don't eat it. But when you make it different, like this salad, you make it just a little bit different, they eat it. Go figure. It's psychological, I know, but hey, it works. So we want to cut our lime and our lemon in half, and we're going to juice them. And I love the lemon reamer. You can find these anywhere. And I always juice over one of these little strainers to get the seeds out. It's just easier that way. 1 lemon. Oh, that is a juicy lemon. And 1 lime. Limes aren't quite as juicy, but they're so good, and it adds 2 different layers of flavor to your fruit. And the honey just adds sweetness. Now my next ingredient, you know, it's an individual taste thing. Now for me, I really like salt on watermelon. I know some people do, some people don't. I do. So I'm gonna add about a teaspoon or so of salt, just a little bit, to my dressing, because I like salt in my watermelon. Now pour that into your reserved juices. Add the zest of your lime and your lemon to your dressing. Whisk that up. So good. And then pour that. Really, you're trying to really get that honey into the mixture. And then pour that over your wonderful watermelon. Oh, I wish you could smell this. I really do wish that someone would invent that smell-o-vision thing. Oh, and it's beautiful, and it's delicious, and it's healthy. I'm gonna take a quick break. When I come back, we're gonna finish up our salad, and we're gonna make our white chocolate tarts. I'll be right back with you in just a minute.
Would it be okay if I sat here? Is she serious? Whatever. New girl. So don't you
Reaching out. Pass it on. From the foundation for a better life.
Baby, tell me, where'd you ever learn to fight without saying a word? Then walks back into my life like it's all gonna be alright. Don't you know how much it hurts?
Now our watermelon salad is done, and I've been sneaking bites. It's so good. I love it, love it, love it. Let's finish up our chicken salad. Remember, we've got a bed of baby spinach with some blue cheese crumbles and some croutons and a little bit of chopped up celery. We've got the other half of our buffalo chicken dressing that we made. And we're just gonna pour that over top of the salad. Then we're gonna take our chicken mixture. This is just sauteed chicken, boneless, skinless chicken tenders. And we're gonna pour that over top of our wonderful salad mixture. And that's ready to eat. And oh my goodness, does it look delicious. Absolutely, totally delicious. That's done, ready to serve your family. Now let's make our little white chocolate tarts. I have just one package of white chocolate instant pudding that you get over there with the jellos and the puddings in that section of your grocery store. I have about just barely shy of 2 cups. The recipe calls for 2 cups, but sometimes I like to go just a little bit shy of the 2 cups of cold milk because I like it to be kind of thick. And we want to just whisk this together. It couldn't be easier. This is just one of those things that you use prepared mixes. Make sure it gets all out of the bottom. Just to make a quick little dessert for your family. It looks special and it looks pretty and it tastes even better. You could use any flavor of pudding mix that you like. I just really, really like the white chocolate. You could use the cheesecake, you could use vanilla, you could use chocolate, use whatever kind you like. Butterscotch, whatever you like will be delicious. In the fall, it's a limited edition thing, but in the fall, they make this pumpkin spice pudding mix that's phenomenal in these little tarts. Now, I make this 2 different ways. Sometimes I use these, which are the little mini graham cracker tartlet pans that you buy. In the same section you get the pudding, you find these, you know where I'm talking about, where you get the prepared crusts. Sometimes I use these, and sometimes I use from the freezer section the little tiny phyllo tartlets. They're frozen, and they're just little bite-sized little pocket things of phyllo dough. And my store didn't have those this morning. If you're using the phyllo dough, all you need to do is thaw them. They're ready to go. You just have to thaw them and just do the same procedure using the phyllo dough shells as I'm using the graham cracker crust. You could use the puff pastry shells that they sell in the freezer department of your grocery store. You could use the pastry shell itself. I saw they make these little mini, about this size, of like pie crust dough that you have to bake and cool first. But these are delicious and they're easy to use. So I just sometimes just get these little graham cracker crusts. They're both delicious either way. I chose strawberries today because they looked wonderful in the store. And I'm just making little slices of strawberries. You could use any kind of fruit your family likes. Whatever they like, you use. This is yet another way to get fruit in their diets, or you could leave this off and just shave chocolate on top if you wanted. Whatever you want to do will be delicious. It's just a simple, easy, yet pretty dessert to serve your family. And I think that probably will be plenty for those 6. Now that pudding is enough for 12 of these little tarts, but I'm just going to show you 6 of them. Give it just a minute. You see how it just sort of thickens up there? And then just spoon it into your tart shells. I love pudding. You could use banana flavored pudding if you wanted to, and then slice bananas on top and use the graham cracker instead of Nilla wafers, you know, like you do in a traditional banana pudding. You could use the graham cracker as your little wafer. Would be delicious, little individual little banana puddings. Let your imagination go wild. That's something I really like to do, is to go to the grocery store when I have time. And I like to go to the grocery store and just walk around and look for new things. My store will always have a little sign, new item, that kind of thing. And I always look to see what's there and how I can incorporate that or how I can use that. You know, you need to be an adventurous cook, the best that you can. Try, it is only food, you know? And I've heard so many comments back. All I'm gonna do is just put some little strawberry slices on top. But I've had so many people that have stopped me or written or emailed, and they've said, you know, I'm trying new things. Thank you for the show because I'm trying new things for my family, and we're loving this, and I'm finally getting my kids in the kitchen, and they love to help me. I saw a lady the other day, and she stopped me, and she was telling me that she and her daughter had made the little chocolate pizza, cookie pizza that my Aaron and I make together. And she said it was such a fun time, and she just was so proud of her accomplishments. And that's one of the goals of this show, is to get your family in the kitchen with you, make healthy, nutritious food that if your children will help you prepare, I promise you they're more likely to try it. And even if they don't like it, they will taste it. And they will become a little more adventurous in their eating. It's worked for me. I have picky little boys, even though you see them on here and they, you know, love to help, but they're very picky little eaters. But I have found because they help me cook, they will try new things. And so that's one of the goals of this show. And I'm so thankful that you are doing that with your family. And then take your little tarts, and there you go. And this is a wonderful, easy, this meal could not be easier to do for your family. We've got our wonderful buffalo chicken salad that we made instead of the traditional buffalo chicken wing. We just took boneless, skinless chicken breasts and made a buffalo sauce with hot sauce and canola oil and a little bit of melted butter and some chives, salt and pepper. Put it over a bed of baby spinach with blue cheese crumbles and croutons, and we just put our warm chicken over that. We dressed the chicken with half the dressing, the salad with the other half. Then we made our